Coming to you live from the Hellmouth.
Adjacent.
It's the Popular Cinema Podcast. I'm your co-host Payne,
I'm Bill.
and welcome to episode 70.
We're freaking old.
70.
Yeah. You think we'll make it to 100?
I don't know. I think so.
I think we should do
Isn't
something
our isn't
special if
our
we do.
anniversary coming up? Didn't we start this show in August?
Yeah, it's like 3 years, I think.
Has it been that long?
I think so. August 7th, maybe? It was the weekend that Fantastic Four opened. So,
Your memory is somehow just amazing to me.
well, I
It's
like
like
that
some
movie, so I remember
Yeah,
it.
I have trouble with years and dates and all that stuff like there. But you always are like this. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
but you
was
can
the
remember your
time.
third grade teacher that had the crooked toes and the glass eye, but you can't remember some shit that happened 2 weeks ago. That makes a lot of
Every
sense.
time I go into my online banking, they're like, "What is your third grade teacher's name?" I have to punch it in there, and I don't like. I think I question picking her as a answer to a password,
Yeah, that's
because
some
I
kind of psychological damage shit. That shit's been etched into your brain so you can't ever forget it. What was her
yeah,
name? Old Crinkle
Be-
Toes?
Bevan, Bevan.
Mrs. Bevan.
Yeah,
Shut up, Mrs. Bevan! Meanwhile, in a cemetery on Oak Hill, cricket.
would it be odd if she was listening to the podcast and she goes, "I really enjoy my student from third grade. He's made something of himself," and all of a sudden now we're just like slamming her.
Sure, you think that bitch is still alive? Evil don't survive that long. That don't work like that.
She had one toe that was like it would be on. She had like five toes, and they were all be like on top of one another. They were
The
somehow.
ballsy part about it was the part that makes her a baller and like a hard rolling bitch was that she was wearing open-toed shoes like every day with all them fucked up feet. So, the thing about it was she was just like, yeah, my toes are fucked up. Like it, bitch. She was just showing them off like she was some kind of runway model.
She probably was a witch. I mean, with the toes and the bulb on the nose.
I don't
I
remember the
mean,
nose. I just remember the glass eye because it always looked like she was looking somewhere else when she would talk to you. Because it was like it was like in the 70s, and I don't think they had perfected the technology back then. So like she would look at you with one eye, and the other eye would be like off, like rolling, like off to the right somewhere, and you'd be like, "Are you looking? Are you talking to me? Or I don't. What's happening?"
William, look at me.
And you'd be like, "Where? What? I don't know. What? I don't know where to look."
By the
Yeah.
way, speaking of a messed up eye, I figure today is Forrest Whitaker's birthday.
Oh,
We can
that's
maybe
nice.
pick. We can.
That's really nice. I don't think he has a glass eye. He has a lazy eye.
Whatever it is, it's his birthday today. So I figure that maybe a little we can do our favorite Forrest Whitaker, movie or film or TV spot. He has like over 126 credits to his name, believe it or not.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy man. I mean, he's no
He's
Samuel
got mouth to
Jackson,
feed.
but he's out there making it happen. So, Bill, we got a lot going on here. We've got protests in the UK for the Orange Clown.
We're
We
really
got
not going to talk about that, right?
No, we're not going to talk
Okay.
about that. We got some
All right.
Twitter purges going on. Apparently, Twitter's purging Obama. What's her name? What's her name? Katy Perry. They're all losing like followers. Twitter purge. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, can we get to the movie news? What the hell are you talking about?
Did you see that in terms of Whitney, there's going to be a Whitney documentary, and what's dropping out there is apparently Osama bin Laden was thinking about killing
Kidnapping
Bobby
her.
Brown and kidnapping Whitney Houston.
Yeah, it's right out of a soap opera I used to watch called Bold and the Beautiful, where one of the lead actresses got kidnapped by like some Egyptian prince. So yeah, talk about art mirroring life or however you say it.
Yeah, well, did that Osama story back? What was that? When did I Will Always Love You come out with the Bodyguard? What year was that then?
I remember that year because that song was my breakup song with my relationship before I met my current husband. So that was 1992.
1992. So when was that bold and beautiful storyline?
That was
Which
probably
before?
around then.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Art mirroring life, life mirroring art,
Did you
whatever.
see did you see the Bodyguard?
I did not. That song broke my heart too much. It was too. I was too. I was in my feelings. I was in my feels. I couldn't do it.
Okay, was that something you would have saw back then?
I mean, Whitney was at the top of her game back then, so I wouldn't have said no.
Yeah, I was always very upset when she married Bobby Brown.
Well, yeah, because he's ugly and she was like hot.
Well, I don't know about all that. It just seemed like she had a good girl persona, but what really turned out was she was just as ratchet as Bobby Brown
Yeah,
was.
you know how them bitches are. They like the bad boys. They don't want the nice ones. The nice ones, nice guys finish last. These hoes want to be treated like dirt.
Well,
That's how they know they're. That's how they know they're loved.
well, that's it. That's it. That's great. That's how we're doing the show here. Right now, our human resources department is going like, we need a 5 second delay, 5 second delay, and we'll just cut it out. All right, Bill. I want you to know that I am organized and I'm ready to rock today.
Well, okay.
We've got a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things happening out there. I do have super fan Carlos stopping by later.
Really? In live in studio or just but via phone call?
Not live in studio. He's coming over for a little bit of a steak dinner.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, yeah,
Please tell him I said hello. Haven't seen him in a while.
sure,
Because
sure,
we're not getting our Chipotle party this year. Because guess that's how you roll over there at Chateau Pain,
It's funny that my
Cleveland
woman just
adjacent.
asked about if we're going to be doing the Chipotle party this year, and I just said there's just too much on the schedule right
Meanwhile, the crickets are like, crick, 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 and the dogs are like, oh, we're so bored.
now.
Too much, too much. We're too busy.
Apparently, what's become clear now with Ferguson, I'm sure Superfan Melissa loves our stream of consciousness here, is that he's getting older and he's starting to develop a cataract, and he's probably also losing some hearing. So now that he'll just do some sort of like bat thing where he'll just yelp. Yep.
He always did that.
Well, it's
I
now
don't know if you can
becoming
blame that on old age. I think that's just like personality disorder.
it's becoming more prevalent. Now he just jumps off the couch and then he just wanders upstairs. It's almost like he's some sort of like Alzheimer's,
Yeah,
where
like yeah, exactly. Like he
where
just
the
doesn't know
people like
where he's at.
go out the front door and then they just leave. He does the same thing. But he just runs upstairs now. Like that's just his thing.
Then he gets to the top of the steps and just stares around like, why did I come up here? Right?
What? Where did I leave my keys up here? Am I here for my keys?
That's funny.
Um,
I saw an advertisement for some doggy medication on TV last night. It's like some kind of like calming. I forget what the name of it was. I was gonna like try to write it down, but I was like, oh, I had a cocktail. I was too tired to reach for the pen. Um, so, but it's like some kind of like. I thought it would be perfect for Ferg. It's like some kind of doggy Xanax.
oh, you
I
should
think
have.
he totally needs it. If I
Okay,
see it
well,
again, I'll write it down.
all right, send that to me because we're thinking about drugging him up a little bit here.
Yeah, he definitely needs some doggy Xanax. He's like
He
woman on the edge of a volcano. He's
so
always ready to just jump right over.
apparently for the past 2 days he's now fallen off the bed twice.
What do you mean falling off the bed?
I don't know what it is. He rolled over and then there was a thud. And
Like
the bed,
he's not familiar with where the edge of the bed is, so he thinks he's gonna roll and then it's like boom.
obviously, I think there's some sort of gyroscope that's starting to go bad in him, and he just rolled over, and you heard this thud, and then he appeared on the other side of the bed. I was looking at him. He's just like, "What the hell happened?" I'm like, "I don't know, buddy. It's a long way down." And
Yes,
then,
that bed is like the Princess and the Pea bed.
yeah,
I'm sure that was not designed by accident. That bed is like 4 feet high. You need a ladder to get in it. Yeah.
and then this morning he was sleeping on my side, and then next thing you know, there was boom.
Poor Ferg.
And so that's twice. That's twice. He's got to learn to
So,
sleep in the middle.
do you have a bench at the end of the bed like you used to in the old house?
No, the dogs, in order to get into the bed, have to be assisted into the bed.
Yeah, and I that when I mentioned the ladder or the step thing, that went over with a big thud. So I guess that's not going to happen.
My woman's like, listen, I'm not going to stop you from lifting them up and bringing them into the bed, but I'm not going to encourage them just walk up into my bed.
Right.
So, yeah.
Can the
All
cats
right.
jump in there?
Oh, yeah. Both
Really?
cats. Yeah, that's
Fucking bionic cat.
even the
Even the three-legged one?
three-legged cat can jump right up in there.
Really?
Yeah, no trouble.
It's like that. She's got like super strong back leg because the other leg, we should have compensated for the other leg. So like she could probably kick you into next week with that one leg.
Yeah. She's
Like a
also
rabbit.
still walking around going like this every time the dogs walk past her. There's a lot of that. A lot of that going on still.
Okay.
All right, Bill. I know we did that whole just initial talk. Let's just get into it. I figured we'd start off with our boy Ahmad Best.
Okay.
For our people out there, we know Ahmad Best is better known for playing Jar Jar Binks in The Phantom Menace.
Sure.
Apparently, he tweeted not too long ago, quote, 20 years next year I faced a media backlash that still affects my career today. This was the place I almost ended my life. It's still hard to talk about. I survived, and now this little guy is my gift for survival. Would this be a good story for my solo show? Let me know.
I don't know how you make suicide into a night's entertainment, but okay.
Well, he's pictured what I presume is his son.
Yeah, I saw the picture. It's his son.
And then I looked up with his IMDb page. He's still doing a lot of work. It's not like he hasn't been working since The Phantom Menace. I was
Sure.
expecting to see something like a big gap in time, but he's been steadily doing some things. Were you surprised to hear that he had contemplated suicide?
Not in the least.
Because you were doing the Star Wars podcast during that time. Obviously, when all this was going
He
on.
didn't really say when he did it, but I'm going to assume it's somewhere between 99 and, you know, in the 2000s at some point because his son was born. His son looks like he's at least 10. So
Sure. I mean, he references media backlash. So
yeah. So I don't think that an actor who plays a part should ever have to face in this day and age, but it's expected. But still, back then it wasn't. There was no Twitter back then. So imagine how loud the voices must have been that made him feel that way because there was no online stuff, and he still got.
yeah, what was it like, the abacus? Did I send him an email?
Exactly. Snail mail, for God's sakes. Yeah. I don't think anybody should ever have to face, a backlash like that over playing a part in a movie. But, we're talking about Star Wars here, and the Star Wars fans, as we know, are sometimes unhinged. I mean, this is still happening. This is still happening. This kind of vitriol is still happening. At least with The Last Jedi, it's not directed at any particular actor. Rian Johnson, however, I don't know how he can still have a presence on Twitter or whatever, but he still does, and he he gives it back to the people. When they said, they're going to remake The Last Jedi, he's like, oh, please, 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 please make it. You know what I mean? So, at least Ryan has a thick skin, thank God.
So do you think this is one of those, okay, so we will both agree that maybe personal attacks on the actor playing a part should be some sort of civility that you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Okay. Is there a point where in taking on a character in a popular franchise that has a lot of fans and obviously, fanatics in there and trolls, should you be aware and comes with the territory that there's going to be a lot more active criticism than just doing a regular movie that nobody really cares to write about to begin with? That
I'm sure he was aware of that, and I'm sure he probably understood that. But can you imagine the level of vitriol that is directed at you that would make you consider killing yourself over? It must have been horrible. So there's a line, I think. And the other thing is, I get people not liking everything. That's okay. No one really says everybody has to like everything. That's all right. You can be civil in your discourse, however. And the other thing is, if you really, really don't like something and it really disappointed you, look, I'll be the first person to tell you when I walked out of the Phantom Menace, I was disappointed. I didn't like it. I felt a lot of anger. Did I get to my abacus and my typewriter or get magazines out and start chopping up letters to make a fucking ransom note to say to Ahmed Best and George Lucas, you should die because you've ruined my childhood, and mail those off to Lucasfilm? No, I didn't. What I did was say, oh, it wasn't really what I thought it would be. And then the next weekend I went to see X-Men or whatever it came out and moved on with your life. I just don't get this whole thing of people who are angry about a property or something, or angry or disappointed about something, and then just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about it for like years. If there's something makes you that unhappy, why fucking wallow in it like a pig in slop? Find something that you like. Try being happier. See if that works. I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
This was a tough time for a lot of people in there because not only was it Ahmad Best, I haven't heard anything about Jake Lloyd, but I know he got double barrels.
Well, Jake Lloyd is now in an insane asylum um, because a lot of the backlash that happened drove him to drug abuse and alcohol abuse. Plus, he already had mental problems anyway, so he's not doing well. All of this over a movie. Look, I'm the first person to tell you Star Wars is a way of life for me. I love Star Wars. I don't know what my life would be like without Star Wars in it. But the minute they make a movie that I don't like, I'm either going to process it and put it aside and move on, or I'm going to maybe reevaluate how I felt about the movie, which is what I ended up doing with The Phantom Menace. Or I'm just going to appreciate what I like about the movies and let the rest of it go. I'm a passionate fan, but fuck, there's a line.
You know what? That's very healthy, Bill. So when Kathleen Kennedy actually does something that completely takes Star Wars off track, you're going to say you don't like her direction that she's taking the universe, and then you will sit there and just go to ground and be happy for the movies that you have.
Right. What I'm not going to do is be like Kathy Kennedy should be fucking burned at the stake like a witch from Salem. And, you know, that all of her children should suffer horrible deaths in car accidents. And that it's her fault that Star Wars sucks. I'm probably not going to do that.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad.
Will I buy the movie on Blu-ray and celebrate the movie over and over again if I don't actually like it? Nope, I won't. And I think that's really as far as I'm willing to go.
Well, I'm glad he's found some sort of peace and he's still working.
I'd like to see his one-man show. I don't know if I want to, dwell on the whole suicide issue for a long period of time, but I mean, I'm sure he has an interesting perspective about the whole episode one. And again, what's funny about it is these things are cyclical, and here we are again with the Last Jedi backlash and the whole people aren't happy with the current state of Star Wars business all over again. It was a nice 5 minutes it lasted with The Force Awakens, but it's over now, so.
You can't keep the hate down, Bill. All right, let's move on. We've already briefly mentioned this in our private conversations, but apparently Netflix and their streaming service, they're now saying that they were going to be obliterating all of their user reviews.
Correct.
Starting on July 30th. So for all the people that sat there and read the reviews on Netflix, as well as wrote them, guess what? You're now being kicked out of the house.
Well, here's the thing. There's IMDb. There's a million websites you could probably go to besides Netflix to review and read reviews of user reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, I'm sure, is one place of movies.
Do you know? Go ahead.
There will be a place for people to express their feelings. It's not like they're obliterating all movie reviews, but on their particular platform, they just don't particularly find a use for it, I guess.
Do you know of anybody that writes a review, user review? Netflix, Redbox,
Don't you do?
IMDb.
Don't you?
What's that?
Don't you? Or didn't you used to? Or no?
No, no, I don't write reviews.
Well, people do it. I don't know of any, but then again, you're like the only person I know outside my house. So
Well, yeah, that's what I'm just trying to figure out because you have to. I don't know. Like, I don't mind reading it to get if I want to fence on something or to get some sort of direction on it. But for the most part, I don't feel the need to write them. I don't think I'm as eloquent as some of these people are. I could be that
but
guy
you
that
like to
goes,
read
"This
them, right?
this movie sucks." Like when I see people say stuff like that, I don't really give it too much. But there's a lot of people that write some thoughtful things. They actually do an analysis, and they're good writers. I kind of appreciate that on some sort of level versus the other person who goes, arg, you know, wouldn't shit on this if it was in a toilet. I don't know.
I
Um,
mean, I get that you like to read the reviews. I get that's a useful tool for people who are looking for movies that, um, they want to find quality goods or whatever. As we've discussed before on and off the air, though, I personally really don't have a use for movie reviews. I just, even positive ones anymore, I really feel like it's just not a useful tool for me.
yeah, I understand. It'll be curious. I mean, they're still keeping the thumbs up and thumbs down, I'm assuming.
I don't think so. I think they're getting rid of the whole thing.
Well, that's going to be an interesting time. I'm going to have to think for myself.
Wouldn't that be a concept? Isn't that a concept?
I'm going to have to look at something and watch the trailer and read the description and reach some sort of conclusion on my own.
Yes. And nothing that anybody says. Well, of course, you can also go to Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, again, you're
Sure,
not going to
sure,
be
sure,
stuck out there in the middle of
sure,
nowhere with nothing.
sure.
But I think Netflix is encouraging people to make up their own minds, and I applaud that.
That's Isn't that hilarious when you think about that? You're actually trying to make me do some sort of critical thinking outside of the fact that I can go someplace else and maybe find a review on it. But within their website, you're forcing me to leave or make my own decision right while I'm there.
Right. How about that?
Hmm. But I'm not comfortable.
I
I
I
unless somebody
understand.
tells me what to think or point me in the right direction. I just
I
don't know.
know. Well, they're going to force you not to be a sheep anymore. You're going to have to be a leader of the flock now. You
Fuck.
got to
All right.
decide if you can step up.
All right, speaking of leader of the flock, Joaquin Phoenix is out. Apparently, he's going to be playing the Joker. Wait, don't
Well,
we already have a Joker?
it's their new label, which I assume they're going to be announcing something about at the Comic Con next week because Warner Brothers has a 2-hour panel on Saturday, bitches. Um, I guess Elseworlds is the label of this particular subgenre movie,
Yeah,
which
I
is
got it.
it's
Like
coexisting
Earth 2.
alongside the DCEU, and it's not the DCEU. It's something separate. I think it's first of all, I don't need two Joker movies. I don't need two Jokers on the screen at the same time. Um, but Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor, and I like him. And if they would have cast him in the part in the DCEU of the Joker, I wouldn't have minded. But as it is now, we have a Joker in the DCEU in Jared Leto, and I'd like to see what he has to offer more before they give me a whole other Joker. And all of this is moot because I don't want shit else to come out of them until they tell me that they're doing Man of Steel 2. So,
When is this Joker alternate Joker supposed to drop?
I think it's next year.
Are we going to be doing? Are they going to also be doing the Jared Leto Joker, Birds of Prey, Harley, and Joker going to venture Bonnie and Clyde style anytime soon?
I think they're probably going to be filming around the same time. So, I don't know.
Do you think this will
I
be
don't know.
confusing for the fans?
I do. I don't. I don't really see the logic in it, but I
It's
don't
kind of
want.
hilarious because they're still trying to establish their main property, but yet they're going to kind of strike up some sort of other universe, a little side universe with other characters without
Here's what
even
it feels
getting
like
their
they're doing
main
to me.
universe established.
it feels like they're throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks. And
Yeah,
if it sticks, they will continue with it, and if it doesn't, they'll have the other one to go to. That's what I feel like they're doing. I do.
it's not a bad plan for them. Shouldn't they just try to? Which is
I mean,
hilarious. Here, go ahead, keep talking.
I just think it's confusing in the marketplace. It's possibly going to oversaturate the marketplace. I think it's not going to do anything to unite the fandom. I think there's going to be people who are going to prefer the Jared Leto version and people who are going to prefer the Joaquin Phoenix version. And then you're going to have people say, well, Joaquin should be in the DCEU or Jared Leto should get his own standalone movie. It is what it is, what it is. Again, neither of these characters are so interesting to me that I want to see them multiple times. I don't even want to see a standalone Jared Leto Joker movie. I'd rather see Joker play a villain in a Batman movie because that's what he's supposed to be. But again, until they give me something to actually sink my teeth into, all of this ancillary business doesn't really float my boat.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm reading what Joaquin Phoenix is saying about his acceptance and
Yeah,
consideration of the Joker
he's
role.
terrified of it. It's going to be a challenge for him. I get it. I get why an actor would do this part. I mean, if somebody offered you the Joker, you're not going to turn it down. I just don't get the logic behind the studio doing it. They just got a Joker. We've only seen him in a movie, one movie.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what version is this? Is this going to be a comic book version, or is this going to be like a Netflix Luke Cage low budget? I'm not in a costume. This is just me before I actually turned actually into the Joker. Just sort of my upbringing and
Well, it's a smaller budget than a regular superhero film, so I would expect that it's going to be more like the Blumhouse low budget movies. Although 55 million is probably like high for a Blumhouse movie, but
okay. Well, I'm a fan of Joaquin Phoenix, and I'm not a fan of Jared Leto's version, so I'm more intrigued by actually seeing a different take on the Joker by Joaquin Phoenix, even though the timing of it seems to be poor.
right.
But moving on, Bill. So there's going to be some competition for Movie Pass. AMC is going to be coming out with their own movie subscription. It's going to cost you $19.99 a month, which gets you access to 3 movies a week.
Plus, they allow, which MoviePass does not, um, online ticket ordering.
Sure, and you get the access to some of their premium offerings in IMAX, Dolby Cinema, 3D.
Yeah, the thing about it is, with us, it's feast or famine. Like we have like one movie a month, but then we won't have another movie for like 2 or 3 months. So it doesn't really make any
Yeah,
sense
this
for us to
interests
do
me. Who
Movie
does
Pass.
this cater to? Is there a whole bunch of people out there? I'm just trying to find out. I'm in a different bracket now. We're in a different bracket in terms of our involvement with the going to the movies. Who would buy something for $20 a month to allow them to see 3 movies a week? That seems
Movie
like a
fans
lot.
that want to see a lot of movies, they're still out there. They're just not. The marketplace doesn't really support.
The thing about it is there really a lot of good movies out there to see 3 in a week though? Is that
You could probably go see the same movie 3 times in a week, I imagine. So if you find
Yeah, yeah,
something
you
you like,
could if you're
you can
wearing
see it
some
three
sort of
times in a week.
raincoat and taking some
Really,
lotion into the movie theater with you. Yeah, sure.
really. Wow. Um, no, I think I mean, it's the same concept as Movie Pass. It's just I think it's actually better than Movie Pass. Again, because
Okay.
it offers online ticket ordering, and if AMC is your theater of choice, then it makes a lot of sense. But I don't even think in my heyday that I would see 3 movies in a week. I think maybe that's for retirees or people who don't have any professional careers at the time that they have a lot of free time. It doesn't make sense for, I don't think us, but I think there's some people it probably does make sense for.
Mm. Okay. I mean, that's good for them to try to what do you call it? Create some sort of competition. And is Movie Pass that popular? I just don't.
I
Just
think,
to me,
yeah, I think it is.
I just don't see a market for it. In all honesty,
Well, there's a lot of people that still go see movies just because it's not like as big as it once was. Doesn't mean there isn't any, people aren't doing it. Some people still do it.
by the way, if you're going to buy Movie Pass for 19.99 a month, they ask that you do it for. They have a 3 month commitment, so you've got to sign up for 3 months minimum.
Right.
With me, Bill, with my
And the
mental
thing about it
state.
is, Jay, people buy gym memberships and they use it like once a week, some or maybe not even that often. So, for some people, it will be a better deal than others. It just depends on how much you use it.
Well, yeah, but technically, to be quite honest with you, I mean, you're able to go to the movie solo. Like if you're off on vacation or something, and you're like, oh, I feel like going to see The Incredibles too. You'll just pick up and go. You know, your husband may be working or whatever else like that, and you're just like you have no qualms with just going to the afternoon matinee.
Yeah.
Now,
Do
but
you
if
have
you're
a
a
qualm with
couple, let's just say you're a couple or a family member, that doesn't really work for you unless they have some sort of family plan. Otherwise, it,
that? Maybe you just
that
buy two memberships.
well, you're spending $40. I guess as a couple, you would have to do a lot of movies, and for me, I just don't. Uh, well, okay, whatever. You got to do something.
I mean, there are hardcore movie fans that like to see all the movies first run. I know that you don't get it because you just wait for the little discs to come in the mail,
Yeah,
but not everybody likes that. Some people still like the theatrical experience.
yeah, okay, okay. You can
What if
keep
there was
going.
no Netflix? What if there was no way to get these discs directly into your home in a timely manner for you? Timely, relative speaking, because you'll wait 3 months after a movie's released till it arrives in your mailbox. But what if there was none? What if there was no Blockbuster? What if there was no way for you to get these movies? Would you go to the theater to see them?
Well, you're asking me now at my age. Mm.
Yeah, at your age, at 47, single man. Well, you're not single, but you're not a father. You don't have children to raise.
Now,
Aside
wait
from
a
the
second.
dog,
How
you
long
don't.
do I have to wait? Okay, so we just saw Avengers: Infinity War. All right. What do I
The,
wait?
the
Standard
Blu-ray comes
6.
out in 2 weeks,
So it's been like three
but the
months.
digital I think comes out.
Two
No, the
months.
Blu-ray comes out in a month. The digital comes out in 2 weeks.
Okay. I would just wait, Bill. That's what I would do. I would wait.
So let me get this right. If you and I hadn't gone to see Avengers on opening weekend, Infinity War, you would just wait until the Blu-ray or the digital dropped to go see it?
Well, that's more of an epic movie, so I would have had to make an effort to go see that one. But any other
Okay.
movie that's not on that epic level, then
Mhm.
I would just wait.
Okay. Talk about delayed gratification.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay, well, let's move on.
But you're always yelling at me about like not watching like all 13 episodes of Luke Cage when it drops. But you'll wait 3 months to go see a movie that came out in like, what just came in your mailbox this week? Or what was not Get Out? What was it
A
called?
Wrinkle
Quiet
in
Place?
Time, A Wrinkle in Time, and A Quiet Place.
All right. Meanwhile, everybody at your office water cooler is like, ooh, that Quiet Place movie. Ooh, ooh. And you're just like immune to that.
Yeah, I'm patient. I'm patient because
Yeah.
that's probably the only movie that they've seen, and they haven't seen the 20 other movies that were out there. Some indie specials, some other stuff like that, some foreign movies. They haven't seen those.
Okay. All
And
right.
all right, moving on. Our boy is back in business.
Who that?
I'm surprised he's been able to survive his Me Too moment. Josh Whedon
Oh yeah, he's doing a new TV show for HBO.
for HBO. Apparently, it's going to involve him being. It's going to be a universe that's let's see here. Versed on
In the
settling on
Victorian
California
times?
suburbia, the series will be a period piece set in Victorian era, an epic science fiction drama about a gang of Victorian women who find themselves with unusual abilities, relentless enemies, and a mission that might change the world. This is the show is going to be called The Nevers, and it marks Whedon's first originally created show since 2009's Dollhouse. He will be the showrunner, executive producer, writer, and director.
Are you going to
You know,
watch it?
oh, absolutely. You know, I hated Dollhouse though. The
Sure.
material, I just couldn't stand it. It just seemed so ridiculous on a lot of different levels. It was just unsavory. But obviously, in terms of this is his specialty, um,
What was that zombie movie that came out a while ago with the Victorian ladies in it? It was based on a
Pride
comic
and
book.
Pride and Prejudice.
Right, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of what it reminds me of, maybe a little bit.
Why do you have some sort of insight? Is this going to be involving zombies?
Well, no, but it's involving these women in Victorian times, who I imagine it's going to be some. They have to fight all kinds of evil. Is what it said, right?
Yeah. I
So,
mean, technically, based on giving one of the like two greatest shows in TV history, on in my opinion, I'm going to watch it just like I gave Dollhouse a shot. Um, but if well,
yeah,
and
we'll probably
I'm
try it.
sorry, Firefly was also enjoyable in its own way.
Right.
Um, I'd be curious. I'd be curious because did you consider Dollhouse a hit for him?
I don't think so. In fact, we didn't watch. We watched. We tried Dollhouse, and it didn't really speak to us, so we didn't continue it. Same
Right.
thing
Did
with
you like
Firefly.
Firefly?
I mean, we watched it, and then but Fox fucked that show up so bad with the scheduling that it was this was before like really DVRs had sort of taken hold, so it was hard to find, and it would like they'd move it like every week, so we just never really got into it.
Yeah. I mean, are you excited for this project or no?
I'm excited for Joss Whedon to get back to the medium that I think he thrives in the most. So I'm excited to see what he brings to it. I hope it's more Buffy and Angel and less Dollhouse and Firefly. But am I like creaming myself over it? No. But I'll take a wait and see standpoint and see how it goes.
Do you think this will be like Buffy and Angel?
Sometimes it's hard to go home again, Jay. So I don't know. That's my
Which
hope.
is, you know what? Which is my exact point, and that's my fear that that was this point in time that worked, and will it work again if that's, if he chooses to go kind of go down that path?
Right. But it's HBO. HBO, as you feel for them, is like the quality first, quantity second network.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
So
Joss Whedon is a A+ talent. I mean,
I mean, I don't know if I mean, I don't know if some of the actresses that he's going to work with are going to be, as available as they were in his day. So, I'm sure Elijah Duke will have something to
why
do
is
with
that?
it, but
He's a little bit free with the hands. Is that what it is?
he's handsy, as they say. Um, so I don't know. I
I'm
cautiously
sure HBO
optimistic.
is giving Joss a handler. He's got a handler, Bill.
Well, I'm sure HBO probably vetted him carefully before. They probably threatened him with an inch of his life if he fucks up. He's out. But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. That
Okay.
means there'll be two HBO shows that I'm gonna probably have to watch here coming up. So
Which two?
Watchmen
And now the
and Michelle.
Nevers. The Nevers. Sounds cool. Did you see the trailer for that Castle Rock Stephen King TV show coming to Hulu?
I did not see the most recent trailer, but I'm assuming that you're going to be trying that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. It looks real spooky. Looks very interesting. Big fan of the material.
When
Will
does it start?
absolutely give it a shot for Hulu. That's my wheelhouse, Bill.
I know. I figured you would. When does it start?
I am not sure. I'm going to say maybe at the end of the month.
Okay. Well, we still have 3 episodes left of Jessica Jones, and then we're gonna finish Luke Cage. So I don't know if we've got room for it, but
Are you going to be picking up another
maybe.
show?
Well, we have other shows to watch. We still haven't finished the final season of Gotham, or like the last season of Gotham
Yeah,
and
we
the
were
last
talking about
season.
that. Are you going to try something new like Cloak and Dagger or some sort of added
I
new
don't think
show
we're
to
doing
you?
Cloak and Dagger. I don't really feel a need to it. It's not like it's tearing up the Twitterverse in my world. So
Yeah. Okay, let's get to your girl Scarlett Johansson. There's two
okay,
pieces of news involving her. Let's go with the positive. Well, you can look at them as both positive, I guess, depending on how you look at the secondary issue. But the first issue is that she's going to be getting a solo Black Widow movie out there, and they've tabbed somebody by the name of Kate Shortland
okay,
to direct her. She also did the movies Lore and Berlin Syndrome, which I actually saw
okay,
Berlin Syndrome. I don't know what Lore is. I actually don't know if that's a TV show or a movie.
okay.
But that being said, she's going to get her shot in the spotlight. Spotlight.
It's about damn time.
I mean, that's great. I love Scarlett Johansson. I think she's a good actress, and I think she embodies the Black Widow. And I like to see her in fight scenes. She kicks ass. What more
Yeah.
can you ask for?
Of all the Marvel Netflix hero, or excuse me, Marvel Netflix, of all the Marvel heroes, cinematic heroes, I think of the females, she's pretty much the one that most deserves her own standalone. She is pretty much the most badass they have on the roster. So she don't even have any superpowers, and she's badass. So I'm
Yeah,
all for it.
yeah. She's more like a Lucy character. I mean, that's essentially Lucy without the superpowers. But I mean,
Right.
it's fine.
I think that that was a smart decision on their part, and I think it will pay off for them. I really do.
Why I'm more, what's the word, invested in a Black Widow solo movie than I would be a Captain Marvel movie.
Well,
Um,
ouch.
I would think a lot of people would be though after having her be involved and connected to several of these movies all in a row. It's hard not to be. So I would be looking at it kind of weird, going like, so now we're doing a Captain Marvel movie, but I've been around since the beginning of like Iron Man 2, and I'm not getting my shot.
I
I'm
think
sure
the what's
I'm
good
sure
about it is
people
that
are
the
happy to do this.
fan outcry is really what drove them to do this movie. I don't think that she was necessarily going to get her standalone until people really clamored them and asked for it and asked for it and asked for it, and finally were convinced to go ahead and do it. So I hope the audience comes up and shows up for it because I think that
Because
you
if they
know
don't, Pearl Mother is going to be sitting there on the side going, "See, I told you."
exactly.
All right. And the other news is, apparently, she was going to be playing in a. She's going to have a starring role in a movie called Rub and Tug, a film based on the true story of a transgender man who ran a ring of prostitution fronts. Um, Character's name was apparently Dante Texgill. She has now dropped out of the project because there was a lot of backlash from several entities and other people indicating that they would want somebody of a transgender nature to be playing this character and not Scarlett Johansson.
I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, are you supposed to say that all gay actors then can't play straight roles because they straight people want a straight actor to play a straight part? Or that no straight actors can play gay roles because gay people want a gay actor to play a gay part? It's stupid. They're actors playing parts. They're not real life. That's the whole fucking point.
Glad.
Gay and
Um,
Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation.
gave a quote that said, Scarlett Johansson's announcement, together with the transgender voices who spoke out about this film, are game changers for the future of transgender images in Hollywood. Hollywood changed how Americans understand gay and lesbian lives, and TV is starting to do the same for transgender people, with authentic transgender portrayals being major hits with critics and audiences. The film industry has a real opportunity to do the same. End of quote.
Social justice warriors.
You know something, Bill? I've been kicking this around here a little bit here, not longer than 24 hours or something here, but I, I, I'm trying to see it from a different angle, and I'm kind of confused by it because here I
Okay.
don't see the big deal. And I don't want to. I'm kind of being kind of
You're not
glib.
a
Big deal
tranny.
might not be the right word for it, but I don't understand it. Now, I think in terms of playing like an authentic or having a portrayal of somebody, like if you were to have somebody play, let's just say, Denzel, um, what's his name? What's Denzel's last name? Denzel Washington?
Washington?
If you're going to have like somebody do like a biography of Denzel Washington after he passes, I don't think you can pull out Leo DiCaprio to play Denzel Washington because he looks nothing like Denzel Washington. And so you will want somebody to sort of at least mimic his look, I would think, in order to have some sort of like portrayal that makes sense. Or vice versa, if you're going to be doing Jim Kong Il over in South Korea, I don't know if you can just whip out Viola Davis to play him. Certain things have to match up. I think if you're going for, like you want to convey a similar image. But I think with the transgender as well as with gay or straight, I just don't know like visually if you can tell by just looking at the person. So if Scarlett Johansson wants to play a transgender person, I mean, who's to know what she's got underneath the curtain? I mean, isn't that that's what's confusing about me. Like on its face, it's not like it doesn't match up. Am I wrong with this? Am I
Social justice movement, and it's gotten to a point where these kinds of issues are being brought to the forefront
but you
involving.
yeah, but you had like Brokeback Mountain. Was there a time was Glad upset that they had Heath
No, they
Ledger?
weren't. No, they weren't. But that was before the social justice warrior movement. So
Well, it's
now
just
we're in a political climate that is ready to be heard, and they
yeah,
will not sit down until they are.
well, I mean, I'm all up for like people like if you're I was there was an article out there, they were giving like a list of 70 transgender actors. Um and of course the first one on the list was Chaz Bono, which is kind of weird, but
He is
it
a
it,
transgender.
it didn't really make for a more popular list with the next 69. But I'm all up for them, everybody getting a part and given a shot. I just don't know. I, I, yeah, I felt more of a issue when Scarlett Johansson was playing the part. Not that I have her give her any shade for accepting, a contract when a studio wants to hire for it, but when she was playing Ghost in the Shell, a primarily Asian character, you know, I understood the whole reason why people were up in arms and going like, well, this character is primarily Asian, and then you just kind of whitewashing it. I understood that because the origin of the material is this. I can also understand why they changed it. But on this one here, it's really hard for me to kind of, I don't know. She's got a Black Widow movie coming out, and she's got other movies that are going to be making bigger paydays for her. It's probably wise for her business wise to step down instead of taint any of her
Yeah, she
future.
doesn't need this shit. She doesn't need this backlash. She doesn't need this. She doesn't need the money. She doesn't need the part. So why would she put herself through this kind of scrutiny and this kind of backlash? You know what? I'll step out. Let's see if the movie still gets made. And if it does get made, let's see if it makes more than 10 cents. So it's
All
fine.
right.
I'm not, this is not politically correct, and I understand that, and that's okay because this is our show, and I can say what the hell I want, and my opinions are my opinions. And I'm not necessarily out there trying to hear everybody's opinions of my opinions. But I just think that this movement is gotten out of control. This politically, it's like politically correctness on crack or on acid or something. It's like ultra politically correct is how we're going to have to be now. It's not for me. Maybe it's for a younger version, but not this one.
I don't know if am I fitted about the whole social justice and trying to move forward. I don't think that bothers me. I just don't know if I see it. Let's just say taking this one movie here specifically, the need for it. I just don't. I can see it in a lot of different realms, but I just don't know. I think the argument would be there should be more work and more inclusion, but I don't know if you can sit there and go like, if this character is going to be gay, it's got to be played by a gay actor. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's weird things.
It's all about much
Gays
for
are all
me.
weird. It makes it more difficult. If you guys were just straight, we wouldn't have these issues. To be quite honest with you.
Well, talk about it politically correct.
If you just assimilated along with regular society, we wouldn't have it. I bet you Russia doesn't have these issues.
Well,
Uh,
oh boy.
what's GLAAD doing in Russia?
Yeah, they're not. They're trying to run for their lives.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
think there is a GLAAD in Russia. I imagine.
that's bingo. All right, so you know today, whose birthday it is, Bill? I mentioned it earlier.
Say it again.
Forrest Whitaker.
Right.
Forrest Whitaker was born July 15, 1961. I'm going to add a new segment to our podcast, Bill. Every time we do the show, we're going to pick an actor whose birthday falls on the day that we're doing the show and then go over his oeuvre quickly and just pick our favorite movie out of it and then move on.
Okay.
You like that? You don't seem too thrilled. You don't seem too excited.
These lists of yours tend to go long, but we'll see what happens.
You know, Forrest Whitaker is 6'2", 220 pounds. He's a big man.
Yeah.
He also won an Oscar for his performance as Ugandan dictator Idi Amin in the film The Last King of Scotland, which may end up being my favorite movie role of his. Anyway, he is like, what's the word I want to say? Just like Samuel Jackson. His movie list is just long, and he's got a lot of parts in it. I mean, he had a little bit part in The Color of Money. He was in Platoon, Good Morning Vietnam. I'm trying to hit some things that you might like. How about The Crying Game?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Mr. Holland's Opus Species, Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai, which I never saw but seemed popular. Battlefield Earth, one of my favorite. What's the word?
Spare me.
Panic Room, Phone Booth, Last King of Scotland, Street Kings, Toys in the Attic, Repo Man, Experiment. I'm not going over the years. Ernest and Klein, Freelancer, The
Are you
Last
going
Stand.
backwards?
No, I'm starting from the beginning all the way up. He's been in the movies making them since 1982.
Okay.
I'm trying to think here. Obviously, Black Panther, Zulu, Taken 3, Dope, Southpaw, Arrival. Let me tell you, Bill, I think as I look over his list, The Last King of Scotland, I thought he was perfect, and I can understand why he won an Academy Award for his performance. It just seemed it was just good. I enjoyed it. My favorite TV role of him, superfans Melissa's husband would appreciate this. He was in, I think, maybe like the third or the fourth season of The Shield,
Okay.
and he played Inspector Kavanaugh on that show for whatever it was, like 18 episodes for that season, and he was just good. He was just good in that damn show. Your boy Anthony
Well,
Anderson was
he's
also
always
on that
good.
show before Blackish, also playing the villain. He was just as good in there. But anyway, Forrest in that role was just badass. And I think I know him more for Inspector Kavanaugh in the Shield TV show, and I love him in The Last King of Scotland. But otherwise, he's like Samuel Jackson and having all these little bit parts and just doing a lot of work in a lot of different movies. How about you?
Well, of all the movies that you've just mentioned, you didn't mention Rogue One, which probably is going to end up the list that you mentioned being my favorite one that he's in.
Oh, okay.
So I thought he was really good in that part.
You like his role as what was his character's name?
I can't remember the character's name. It was like the mentor guy to. Oh, what is that actress's name? I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why.
You're so basic, huh? This is what
Oh,
it
I
is.
guess.
He stars in a Star Wars. When we do Billy D. Williams Ovra, when his birthday falls on our Showtime, are
How
you
do we
just gonna
know
be
what's going
like,
to happen that
it's not gonna be Lady Sings the Blues? It's gonna be like, you know,
way?
Lando Calrissian. Is
Yeah,
that what it's gonna be?
I'm a basic bitch. I don't hide it. I don't have a problem with it. That's how it is.
We're not even. You're not even gonna pick the Crying Game. I mean, come on.
No, I mean it's been so long since I've seen The Crying Game that I honestly can't remember who he played in that movie. I haven't seen that movie since like the early '90s when it came out.
126 credits to his name.
Saw Gerrera, that's his character's part.
Hmm. Oh, he's also in Lee Daniels, The Butler.
Right, which I've never seen. So
It's so funny when you go to his IMDb page. IMDb
Felicity
page.
Jones, that's the character. That's the actress. Okay.
He is known for The
Sometimes
Last
you just
King of Scotland, Lee Daniels, The Butler, Battlefield Earth, and Rogue One. Eh, okay. Well, happy
you're not
birthday
gonna
to Forrest Whitaker.
you're not gonna say that his part in Battlefield Earth like really won you over.
I did like him. I think I just like the movie.
Okay.
I like the movie. It's a guilty pleasure for me.
I don't know why it has to be guilty, but okay.
It's guilty because some of the concept and the acting, it's bad, Bill. It's bad,
I've
but
seen
it's
the
so
movie. I realize it's crap, but hey,
it's so good though. It's so good, and
ugh.
it's bad in its bad
You
state,
can
Bill.
never make fun of me for my feelings about Catwoman ever again after telling me that that
Oh,
was one of your.
it's not even close on the level of Catwoman.
Oh,
Meow.
that's right.
Meow.
No, but we've got John Travolta with 10-inch stilettos and dreadlocks. Okay. All right.
Oh, I can't. So our boy Neil Blomkamp, who's the director of as you know him, probably of what District 9, Chappie, Elysium, is going to be tasked with making a RoboCop reboot,
It's
another
not a
one.
reboot, it's a sequel
Oh, it's going to be a
to the
sequel,
original
RoboCop
series.
Returns.
Yes, to the original series, which is
Are
an
they going
odd
to have Joel
concept
Kinnaman?
considering RoboCop.
Are they going to have Joel Kinnaman reprise his role?
No, that was the reboot.
Right. So
Now
you're
you're
telling me this
confused.
is going to be a sequel?
To the originals, not the reboot.
Okay. So once again, who was the actor that played in the original?
Peter
Peter Weller.
Weller, yeah.
Are they bringing him back?
I don't even think Peter Weller is acting anymore. So I'm going to go with no. Um, I also think it's weird for them to do a continuation of a movie that's as old as RoboCop 3. So I think it's kind of wonky as a
For the
concept,
fans
actually.
out there, Peter Weller is still acting. Oh yeah. Oh, Peter Weller, look at him. Anyway,
Does he look bad?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, he could probably still do the part. I like Peter Weller. But anyway,
How old is Peter Weller, Jay? Come on, he's going to do the part of RoboCop.
he was born in 1947. He's old.
So
If you're doing the
yeah,
math. He's old.
he's 71, and he looks like death warmed over as I'm looking at his IMDb photo. Yeah, no,
You're
he's
looking
not
at through
doing.
that gay lens, so I mean that's
Yeah,
probably the problem. But anyway, all right. Well, that's kind of cool. I like Neil Blomkamp. I know he's been doing some sort of side projects, trying to get his other company up and running, making these little side futuristic sci-fi shows. I'd be curious as to his take on a sequel to RoboCop.
what year
Uh,
did RoboCop 3 come out? Let's see. Or maybe they're going to ignore the sequels like they're doing with this new Halloween movie and just go with the straight sequel to the original movie. So the original RoboCop was out in 87.
RoboCop 2 was 1990.
RoboCop 3 then was 1993. So at least 20, 25 years.
Yeah, and RoboCop 3 didn't star Peter Weller.
Who did it star?
This is why we need a producer.
I don't. Well, maybe if Scooty's to get off his ass. I saw RoboCop 3. I kind of like RoboCop 3, but I don't remember the actor who played RoboCop in that movie.
Rip Torn.
Robert John Burke. That's his name.
What happened in RoboCop 3? Do you remember?
I think it was kind of basically a lighter RoboCop 2. It was less like dark and violent. Oh, this guy looks good. He still looks good. This Robert John Burke guy. But yeah, I don't. It doesn't really stick with me as far as like how the
You know,
plot
I
and
had
shit
to
went.
watch the RoboCop reboot trailer again with Joel Kinnaman,
And Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, and it's one of those things as you're watching it. I saw the movie, but as I watched the trailer, a lot of the parts I don't remember. And what's sad to say is, as I always say, it just doesn't stick to your ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I watched it, and as soon as I watched it, it was just disposed of that instant. Like it didn't, you know, like I don't remember anything from that movie. I remember more from RoboCop 1 and 2 than I did from watching a reboot just a couple years ago.
I like the reboot actually. I have it in my collection. I haven't gone back to it, but I did enjoy it.
It's just not really memorable for me to put in my collection. But I'm glad
You
you
don't
enjoyed
have
it.
a collection,
I have a
so
mental collection, Bill.
oh, okay, I got it.
Oh, by the way, I can undust. Was it? I can't. I haven't said it in so long. La cinema du semaine over Damas DB Frère Jacques.
What the fuck? What are you saying?
Frère Jacques du la semaine. Anyway,
So, are you
I
gonna
saw a
bring that
couple
segment
movies.
back?
I saw a couple movies this weekend through my Netflix subscription DVD. I
And
saw
what
A
were they?
Wrinkle in Time, which I think you would tell me it doesn't count as seeing the movie if I ejected after 15 minutes, which
Right.
I did. Absolutely
So
horrible. Absolutely
doesn't
horrible.
count. Fine, doesn't count.
Characters, all the characters, from top to bottom, from Oprah to Reese Witherspoon, Zal Galifianakis, Mindy Kaling, to the three children and their parents, all of it just poor, Bill. Animation poor, storyline poor, everything. If I have to give out the Pain Razzies, this is going to be my number one movie, and I didn't even watch all of it.
So 15 minutes is getting them a Razzie.
Yep. And if you want
Okay.
to, I'll throw away my Ahmad Best points and then just start writing some sort of nasty messages to those kids saying they should never act again. Never.
Really? I
Never,
don't see. I just don't.
never, never.
This. I just don't think that you can call it having seen the whole movie if you've only seen 15 minutes. Did you even fast forward through the end, or you just popped it out after 15?
Can't. It
which
was just so bad, Bill. It's just so bad. It wasn't going to get any better.
okay, that's fair. I'm not saying that you should sit through something that you don't enjoy, but then I just don't think you can count as having seen it if you've only watched 15
Sure.
minutes of
Then
it.
if you want me to say worst movies that I can barely get past 15 minutes.
There you go. That's a qualifier, and I think that's fair.
Wrinkle in Time.
There you go.
The only reason why I gave it the full 15 minutes because I was just shocked at the horror that I was seeing on screen.
You were
That was
probably eating and didn't feel like reaching for the remote. That's really why.
I also saw A Quiet Place, which you knew I got my woman on board and ready to rock and roll to see that movie. I got some Chipotle.
Did she make it all the way through?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody was fully
Excellent.
awake. Now and then she picked up the phone to do some sort of Facebooking. I kind of gave the side eye, but I ignored it. Um,
She was doing some Facebooking while watching a movie? Oh, that's as bad as you playing that damn game.
Clash Royale, shout out.
Ugh.
Yeah, Bill. So anyway, I saw
I
it.
wish my husband would do some shit like that while I was trying to show him a movie. I would have snatched that phone right out of his hand and be like, bitch, please.
I don't know if that's going to go over well in my household if I snatch the phone out of her hands like that, Bill. I just don't think that's not
No.
going to play well. That's going to
Okay.
raise other issues.
Right. Okay.
I saw A Quiet Place. I gave it a positive review, but I did not find it to be as great as the critics and the internet and everybody else that writes about it said it was. Is it
So
worth
1 to 10.
watching? Sure. Is it worth watching? Absolutely. Is it the bee's knees and the game changer that I was hoping it would be? The answer to for me is no.
So 1 out of 10 or
I give
A
it a
through F.
7. Yeah, I give it a 7.
All right, A through F.
B minus,
Okay.
close to C plus.
That seems middling.
Well, it was a middling movie, and I think what you have is you have a very cool concept, something original, but everything else about it was fairly predictable, and I think that's where it really lost me. The kids were predictable. Some of the situations that popped up were predictable. And what you had is you had a really great original idea, something new, whole idea that you got to be silent in the movie to, like 80% of the time to try to avoid these creatures, somehow delved in something that seemed pedestrian. And that's where I was kind of confused about it. And I feel like the people gave it high marks. Well, actually, I don't know what the people did, but it seems like for me, it seems like it gets high marks for having the quiet sound and the concept versus everything that they did. I could see coming a mile away, and you're just like, oh, this is just the same shit, just dressed up in a different, more slicker package. So it was very disappointing in a lot of different ways. Doesn't mean that
So
I'm
it's
not going
not
to
this
watch
year's
A
Get Out for
Quiet.
you.
What's that?
It was not this year's Get Out for you then.
No, it was not. And I think I've discussed this with you over the phone that Jordan Peele, after watching Get Out, I would certainly see why he would get a contract to make more movies and to come up with more ideas because I think he put a lot of layers in Get Out and subverted a lot of tropes and stereotypes and expectations. He gave something that was new and different. I think Krasinski, what he showed me was that he can direct a movie and that it's competent, but I don't know if there was anything that was sort of unique or says something about him like he's a young Steven Spielberg or some sort of extra talent. Would I put him behind the camera? Absolutely. Would I put him on something to be like he's going to be our flagship guy that's going to take us into the next generation with his ideas and filmmaking? The answer would be no.
I think
So,
they already greenlit a sequel to The Quiet Place, if I think
oh,
correctly.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For like whatever 25, 30 million, it makes over like $500 million. I get it. I would do the same thing. I'm going to watch A Quiet Place too. I just wasn't impressed with it enough where I sat down there and get some candles, get some Chipotle, get my woman on the couch, quiet the dogs up, and it's like popcorn in a movie. Here we go. I don't do that too often,
And
Bill.
did your girlfriend like it?
She did enjoy it. She did enjoy it. It was better than she thought it was going to be, and she had a good time with it.
Well, good.
Now, when she found out my criticisms of it, she understood where I was coming from. But I felt like I was kind of throwing a damn blanket over her joy a little bit when she was just like, "I liked it," and "Did you like it?" And I was like, "This, eh."
Right.
I mean, if you like regular pancakes and stuff, but sometimes I like my
Oh,
pancakes with chocolate chips in them.
okay.
All right, Bill, what else you got for me before we move on?
You're the hostess with the mostest, so I'm counting on you
I
to
am
tell
the
me.
hostess with the mostest on there. I'm ready to wrap it up, Bill. To be quite honest with you.
Really? It's only 3:16. It's the shortest show in the history of the show.
Well, we still have to go over Box Office Mojo.
Okay.
Box Office Mojo Jojo. Maybe I should find some sort of like sound clip that goes Mojo Jojo
They have that sound clip, you know.
somewhere here. I'm not going to tempt fate by hitting buttons and bringing some other stuff. I'm looking forward to discussing this one because this is just very funny to me. Okay,
Okay.
for the weekend ending July 13th through the 15th, Bill, of 2018, the number one movie for this weekend is Hotel Transylvania 3
3.
Summer Vacation. God, I can't stand Adam Sandler.
Wow. Is
Oh,
he
this
is
movie.
he Dracula?
See, this is like the Boss Baby thing right here. You get to put some shit in there. You make some sort of fart jokes. You tell some standard things like vampire eating garlic and then farting out his butt. You put that up on screen, and the kids would go like this. "Eee!" And the parents are just like, "Oh, this is rotting my kid's brain," but he wants to go see Boss Baby in Hotel Transylvania. There you go. That's what you get. All right.
Well,
Hey,
the kid
listen, you love animation. Are you
I
seeing
do.
Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation?
No, because remember, I only do Pixar or Disney proper.
Yeah, trust me. If there was something else that spoke to you that somebody else was doing some shit, you try it out. You try it out. Don't
Listen,
tell me you
actually,
wouldn't.
Gendy Tartakovsky, who's the director of this series of movies, directed one of my very favorite TV series, which is the Clone Wars micro series, which was sort of what they based the Clone Wars cartoon on.
Okay.
It 2 seasons. It ran in 2003, and I loved it. Now he's also very famous for creating other shows that were smash hits: Dexter's Laboratory, Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a director connected to this that I'm interested in. Um, I just never felt like this really spoke to me. So
Let's not act like the fact is that they just can't have the director do some really cool stuff and then just put them in the box office machine and then just sit there and make that shit all fucking generic. You can't tell me there's anything unique about Hotel Transylvania,
I don't
notwithstanding
know.
the
I've never
talent
seen it. I don't know.
behind the screen, Bill. From the trailer itself, it's not enough to even get you remotely to consider, even though the director has done some great things for you.
True. But apparently it must be speaking to somebody because it's number one at the box office, right? So the kids must
Ah,
be ruling the box
listen,
office this weekend.
listen, because there's some sort of this is the type of movie that Jackson would go see, my 4-year-old nephew. Okay, all right.
Okay.
My sister's not going to go see Hotel Transylvania 3 Summer Vacation. Jackson's sitting at the screen going like this. I want to go see that. And my sister's just like, well, let's just go see something. It'll kill a couple hours in the summer and we go see it as a family. That's what happens. Let's not think otherwise here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say it's a good movie, but I mean, I haven't really rented it or tried to
Have you
pursue the
seen
other
Hotel
two, so I guess
Transylvania 1 or 2?
I have not.
I have.
Okay. And you say no?
They're garbage. They're
Okay.
garbage. They're good for one or two jokes, but generally, for the most part, they're just some sort of bland, just normal sophomoric humor with
Fair
Adam
enough.
Sandler's voice. Now, I think this probably works for a certain age group, but I don't think anybody else, if you're trying to do what you would say to me, like some sort of cross appeal across all age groups, I don't think these are the movies. I do find, when I sit there and be on Pixar's jock, I find that their movies seem to work across a lot of different age groups. Where
Most of the
not only do
time.
you, well, where you have children as well as adults enjoying it, where a joke is funny on one level and funny on another level for an adult. There's a skill in their writing and their presentation of the material. I find that some of these movies like Boss Baby and Hotel Transylvania, they're not necessarily trying to appeal to adults. They're doing what I would call simple humor. And um well, what do I know? It pulled in $44 million. So the budget on Hotel Transylvania 3 was $80 million, Bill.
Seems awfully high for an animated movie. Wonder why.
You've got Adam Sandler and Selena Gomez and Andy Samberg. All right, the number two movie in its second week of release, Ant-Man and Wasp, pulling in
Yay!
another $29 million, bringing its grand total domestic 132 million.
So, do you want to surprisingly tell the audience what you thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp? Because you weren't really high on it before we saw it.
Oh, I thought the movie sucked, and I mean, I guess there's going to be a third one, but I don't see why there would be.
That's new. That's not what you said when we came out of the theater, but okay.
I'm joking. I
Okay.
enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
But this is
And
this is my new lens of certain movies. This is my new lens
why
of
why
going in.
why does it always have to be qualified? Why don't it just be like
It
I
is
like
qualified. It is. It's my Dalai Lama
it?
moment here. Okay, of going. This is not the type of movies I want, Bill. I want the darkness, no parents. Okay, I want the superheroes ripping the superhead villain off. I want them shit to be like Kingpin in the Netflix series, smashing some guy's head in the door, so he's a villain. That's what I want
Mhm.
for my superhero shows. Okay, now Marvel is not doing that, and that's their choice. So I
Sometimes they
can't.
do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, well, this movie is not. It's Ant-Man and the Wasp. We're throwing a
Right.
giant Pez head down the street in the fucking trailer. Okay?
Okay. And then at the end of the movie, everybody turns to ash. I don't think that was
Right.
like
And then if you go with the last scene of the movie, it cuts to an ant playing the drums, which you
right,
also can see in the trailer.
which is like the cockroaches are going to be the last things to survive in a nuclear war. I think that was kind of what they were saying.
Yeah, whatever. I didn't take that. I just looked at it as very stupid as a giant ant playing a drum set, Bill. Okay,
Okay.
sophomoric. That being said, my whole point of the matter is I can't force to be the movie to be something that it's not trying to be. And so I'm
Right.
dinging it for not fitting what um meeting my expectations. So I'm not going to ding the movie for not meeting my expectations. I'm just going to take the movie, whatever it's trying to be, and just see whether or not I can accept it on its level. You
And
know,
you did in this movie instance.
I did. I had a good time with it. It was
Well, that's
fun. I
great.
laughed. It was enjoyable, and that. But
So
for what it is, Bill, for what it
well,
is.
that's all it needs. It
Okay.
doesn't need to be anything else.
Nothing
It is
more.
what it is.
Would I sit there if somebody told me like, by the way, I really like Hunt for Red October and I really like serious period pieces and serious acting and drama. Is this something I should take my family to? The answer would be no. Okay. If you're looking for really good acting and really good writing, and this is not the movie for you, but if you're able to shut off your brain and just accept it for what the basic shit that it is, then have a good time.
Okay, so it was my favorite movie of the summer behind Infinity War. I think it gave me all the summer feels that I was hoping all of my summer movies would give me that really didn't. Like Jurassic World 2, which I felt was okay but not great. Incredibles 2, which I also felt was okay but not great. But then along comes Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I thought would be enjoyable, but I ended up enjoying it more than I even thought I would. So it gets high marks from me. I think Marvel's kind of on fire right now. Aside from Black Panther, this year, which wasn't obviously my favorite. This and Infinity War is a great combination, and I think, it really puts them in a good place for next year with Captain Marvel coming out and Spider-Man 2 and of course Infinity War 2. So I think, it was a really fun, enjoyable time. That had a lot of heart, and I liked it a lot.
Okay. I also saw Black Panther this weekend again. We had Chris's grandson
FW?
was over, and so
Okay.
I was cleaning up the basement, and he came in, and he hasn't seen Black Panther yet, so I put it on. So while cleaning it up, I watched it one more time.
Hmm.
I find myself cheering through a lot of the scenes.
Good.
And everything I said about Marvel not meeting my expectations, there's a lot of violence in Black Panther. A lot of
Sure.
killing, a lot of
A lot of bad
murder.
acting.
There's some stiff acting, yes, but there's a lot of concepts in there that are not necessarily, a boss baby. There's a lot of layered issues in there. Got a
I
father
hear
killing
what you are
father killing
saying.
a brother. What's that?
I hear what you are saying, and I agree.
You never freeze.
Yes. I
Did he?
sound like I am reading off a cue card. It's not. I am actually translating my lines in my head using Google Translate, which is what takes me a second to read them out loud.
Ah, you're such a hater for the black movie.
I'm not. I like the other actors. I do. I think that, listen, I'm not a big fan of Shuri. She kind of sucks too. But all the, like, Michael B. Jordan's good. And Ukuu Wakawawa from Walking Dead, she's good. Even Lupita Nyong'o is okay. But the lead actor just sounds like he's reading lines off a cue card, and I'm sorry, that's how I feel about it.
I'm sorry, you were mentioned it to have you go down the same dialogue of yours. The number 3 movie, Bill. Oh, this is so rich for me. So rich. Number 3 movie in its opening weekend, Skyscraper, The Rock. Finally
So
getting
I hear this is
closer.
some kind of a disappointment for them.
It made $25 million, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I guess The Rock doesn't have, the golden touch for everything, huh?
No.
Oh, here's the headline on Screen Rant: Dwayne Johnson's Skyscraper bombs domestically.
It pulled in $25 million. The budget is $125 million, by the way.
Well, I guess there's no Skyscraper too. So yeah,
What,
I don't know. Do
what's,
you think this hurts? Do you think
see,
this
what's
hurts
interesting is
box office chances?
with The Rock has, he's another like the hardest working man in show business, sort of like Samuel Jackson, but except on a wider
How dare
scale.
you mention Samuel L. Jackson, a classically trained actor, in the same mouthful as fucking WWE reject The Rock?
Well, I'm saying The Rock in terms of doing work in the industry does a lot of work. Does a lot of like, Samuel Jackson is out there making movies left and right. Sort of
The
like
Rock's
comparing
like
him
the
to
modern
Nicolas
day.
Cage, but on a certain level, you would have Nicolas Cage, who's making a lot of movies left and right, but all those movies are bad and straight to DVD. You have Samuel Jackson, who's also making a lot of movies, doing little bit parts here and there, and occasionally having a starring part. And then you have The Rock, who makes a lot of movies, but they're primarily blockbusters. They're bigger movies where he's like the solo lead actor.
He's
That's
like
my
the
only
modern day
comparison.
Sylvester Stallone
Yeah, I'm just making a
or Arnold
comparison.
Schwarzenegger.
I'm not
Right.
questioning his talent or training. I'm just saying he's a lead actor in a bunch of multi-million dollar films, lead role. Um, but he's done some movies that I'm just like, these things are just bad on a lot of different levels, but they still end up making a shit ton of money where I'm just like, who's going to go pay to see this in a theater? And like Rampage was one of those movies I'm just like, you're joking with this. This is I didn't even put it in my queue, Bill. That's how bad it looks to me. Um, yeah. Well, 25 million.
Well, again, I guess
Does
even The
Skyscraper
Rock
look good
has
to you?
not particularly.
Okay.
Seems like
Well,
generic action.
there you
But
go.
stuff I like looks like generic superhero movie. So it's each his own, I guess.
Yeah, no, well, this there's a part of me that there's a little bit of troll in me, Bill, that makes me sit there and kind of smile.
Because
I don't know. This sounds so negative. Something like this, you're just like this. I'm thankful this fell for we can move past some of this bullshit. We're just pushing out some bullshit.
you think they're gonna stop making blockbusters because this movie made
No,
$5?
no, no, and I don't think they're going to start making like the forest, the moon, and the trees movies and giving 125 million either. But some of these things just look like they are just soulless whatsoever. And generic's a good word for it. That's all it is. It's just flavorless. It's like me boiling some chicken and putting no salt on it. That's what you're giving me. And I wouldn't go to a theater to see this. I mean, give me some Die Hard shit. I mean, if you were trying to go for Die Hard, you're far, far, far away from it in this trailer. It's a watered
Well,
down version.
the rest of America apparently agrees.
All right, the number 4 movie. I won't beat this horse. Apparently, the audience has already done that. Um, the number 4 movie is Incredible 2 in its fifth week of release, pulling in $16 million, bringing its grand total internationally to $856 million. The
I think
Incredibles
they
2
said
is
it's
a
the
very big
highest.
hit domestically as opposed to foreign.
I think they
Domestic.
said it's the highest grossing animated film ever. Something like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, it falls into Payne's rule of the sequel being more. If the original is popular, then the sequel should be even more popular than the original. Once again, Payne's rule. It's like the Pythagorean theorem, Bill. It always works.
Right.
Then
Until it
you
doesn't.
have the number 5 movie in its fourth week of release, Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, pulling in another $15 million, bringing its grand total to $1,134,000,000. Interesting enough, domestically, the movie only made 300 and I say only with a bit of a smile because that's a ton of money. It only made $363 million. It's primarily made double its money overseas.
Some of these things translate overseas and some of them don't. Star Wars, the Chinese people don't want to have shit to do with it. But put some dinosaurs running around a desert and everybody's running out to the theaters. Okay.
The First Purge, I'm going to just do that one because it's a movie that I do like, is the number 6 movie. It's been out for 2 weeks. It pulled in another $9 million, bringing its total worldwide to $72 million on a production budget of $13 million.
Well, there you go. Hard to lose money when you don't spend any
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah, there's something about that. You would hope that first Purge just didn't really. I mean, I'm a fan of the Purge movies, but there was just something about it that just seemed kind of boring.
Have they run out of steam with the Purge concept?
I know,
Because
I don't
aren't they
think they
making a
run out of
show?
steam. I just think the presentation of the first Purge, whether it's the marketing or just whatever else, just didn't really seem to have enough punch to it.
I assume it's a prequel since it's called the first.
I'm sorry?
I assume it's a prequel because it's called the first Purge. What did they do?
Yes.
Start like Star Wars with Purge 4?
It's a
And then we
prequel.
just work our way backwards?
Yeah, yeah. Okie dokie, Bill. So, what is your plan for the rest of the day, my friend?
I am going to go watch Mamma Mia because the new Mamma Mia comes out Friday and I have to go see it, of course. So I haven't seen Mamma Mia in quite some time. So I am going to rewatch and refamiliarize myself with that storyline.
I was always offended by the Mamma Mia storyline.
Why?
So let me get this straight. You have what I believe is what Meryl Streep in the original,
Mhm.
and she has a daughter that's going to search for her father, and this woman has maybe possibly slept or did sleep with three different men, but she doesn't know
Yeah,
who the father is.
yeah, she's a hoe.
And somehow everybody's singing and dancing and not recognizing that she's a hoe. And we just ignore that fact that this woman daughter doesn't know who her father is, but they're all running around, Mamma Mia, Mama, Mamma Mia, who is my father? Is it you, or you? Which one? And the mother's like this, I don't know. I don't know which one it is. You just have to do a DNA test. This is the musical. Am I wrong on this?
I don't know. I don't know why, of all the things that you can find acceptable in movies, that this is the issue that you somehow decide to ride your morality
Listen.
coattails on.
I don't need about consistency about violence and teens being exposed to other shit. I understand that, but this concept of being this is one of those things that's like celebrated. It seems like it's like a big deal, like a musical, and it's having fun. It seems like it's like one of those rap songs where you're not listening to the lyrics and everybody's like grooving and dancing, and then the movie's like, "That's right, I shot him in the head, and now he's dead." Now I'm gonna kill some more people, but the beat's going boom, and everybody's like dancing to it and shit. And you're like, do you know
I
what the
mean,
lyrics are saying? This is what it seems like you're doing. You're like, ooh, I love this. I'm like, you understand what the concept is about, though. Like, you don't find her
yeah,
character to be unsavory in any way whatsoever, huh? Just the mother is just she's just
bitch
regular,
got
just
around.
like she's just a Saint Joan of Arc, huh?
Listen, there were days and ages when I dated three people at
So
once. So I don't necessarily, just because I
I
didn't
don't
get
I don't
put
look at you like you as a bastion of morality, Bill. Okay, I'm
okay.
just saying.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not throwing stones in my glass house. Okay, that's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
So you don't have a problem. Is there any is this one of those things that people just like the songs, or they really like the storyline of this
I
mother
thought the story
having
was cute. I think it's a cute story. I think it's about a family and how they end up, together, and the girl and the mom's relationship. I think it's cute. I don't. I mean, she's a hoe, but okay. Some of us were hoes.
I'm looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score for Mamma Mia,
Mhm.
and they give it a 54%. They give it the splat, and apparently 66% of the audience liked it for whatever that's worth. Here are some of the quotes. One person says it is a lot of fun. The other person says the movie spirit is somewhere between High School Musical and Hedwig and the Angry Inch. It's one dorkily wholesome and proudly slutty. And proudly slutty. Another one is in the slightly altered words of ABBA, you can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life at Mamma Mia. Lastly, it would be easy to underrate the deceptively effortless master acting class that Meryl Streep puts on here. Now, what Jay Payne likes to hear, a mostly ghastly spectacle. If you're invited, you might as well enjoy yourself. Just don't say I didn't warn you, and don't you dare say I hate ABBA. A sage once advised being wary of movies in which people on screen are having more fun than the people in the audience. Mamma Mia was that good advice. You know, I did see Mamma Mia, Bill, right? You know that, right?
Okay.
So, what's Mamma Mia 2 about? Does she sleep with three more people and have another kid, and then this kid is going to go look for their father as well?
I really don't know. The trailer doesn't really give you that much information about it. I know they're back on the island. So that's really all I know about it.
You like it for the music?
I do. I thought the story was cute. I thought the music was cute. It was a good time.
So the sequel is about Sophie finding more about her mother's past while seeking guidance on how to handle her pregnancy. I don't really know if she should be going to her mother for advice, to be quite honest with you. But you
Listen,
learn
I don't
things.
know why you're trying to suck the joy out of it for me, but it's not gonna happen. So give it up.
Li- Listen, I mean, I understand you're cool with this. I mean, if I'm just looking for traditional family values as opposed to some sort of mother having like random sex with three different dudes and doesn't know who the father of her own child is, hey. I mean, whatever floats the boat for the
You know
people
what you
going to
could
see the
do?
movie and
Is
enjoy it.
go rewatch The Punisher, and have the superhero guy, poke people's eyeballs out and shoot people in cold blood, murder them basically in the streets. That'll be a good morality lesson for you.
Bill, this is America. We deal in violence.
Right,
All
but
right.
not sexual.
So what? So you're gonna watch Mamma Mia tonight?
I am.
Oof, that seems like a rough way to
Mamma
start
Mia.
off the week. I can tell you that.
Oh, actually, I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to be singing, sipping on a cocktail. I'm going to have a good old time.
All right. And so, what is your week looking for you?
I am still on vacay, so I'm not doing jack shit. Next week, however, is Comic Con. There aren't that many big events this year because obviously Marvel has decided to skip it. So there's not going to be any Infinity War news or Captain Marvel news or Spider-Man news, which just, by the way, just started filming like a week ago. But Warner Brothers, as we talked about before, is having a 2-hour panel, which will be full of hopefully good stuff about Shazam and Wonder Woman 1984 and Aquaman, which they're supposed to be releasing a Shazam trailer and a Aquaman trailer. So that'll be exciting to see that happens. That panel is Saturday, so that news probably won't come out till Saturday night. The panel, I think, isn't until 4:30 Eastern time, or I'm sorry, 4:30 Pacific time. So it's like 7:30 our time.
Okay.
Friday is the Universal panel, which is going to have Glass, which is supposed to drop their trailer on Friday, and the new Halloween is the panel. It's Glass and Halloween because they're both Universal movies. I of course just want to see the Glass trailer. Please, God, help me now. Give it to me now. And Thursday is a 10-year anniversary of the Clone Wars cartoon panel, which I'm really looking forward to because I love that show, and that'll be interesting for me. But other than that, those are the 3 big things that I'm really looking for Comic-Con this year. So there's like one event for each day. So,
Bill, it has been enjoyable for you for July 15. I feel like this is the halfway point of 2018. We're still alive, so that's a positive.
And we don't have another movie to risk our lives to go to until December, so we've got like 6 months to live, at least.
I guess so. If that's the only place where we can be shot, apparently, is the movie theater. I guess that's one way to look at it. But
well, it's the only place we go that's probably like congregated with like lots of people that the shooters want to like.
All right, fair enough. I've been your co-host, Payne.
I'm Bill.
And thanks for listening to episode 70.
Laters.